Shalom, family. Most High Christ bless. I'm Officer Benjamin. We out here downtown Charlotte. Episode 2, Cuts from the Street. Heavy topic, controversial topic. Are you pro-choice or are you pro-life? So we're going to engage with the people, see where their minds is at. Hopefully somebody will get edified. We just need one soul. What you got for them, officer?
Yeah, so it's Officer Kaz. Again, like he said, we out here downtown Charlotte. It's a heavily populated city. We trying to engage and see whose mind is toward God and whose mind is not. And hopefully, like Officer said, we can bring something out that's edifying and teach the people today. You know what I'm saying?
As we all know, this is an extremely volatile topic. Abortion is very sensitive. It deals with life and it deals with death. And some people don't even believe that. We're going to see where the people's minds are at. We're going to bring out a few things biblically. But guess what? We're going to get out here and we're going to actually deal with the people one-on-one and have them deal with us. Right? We out here.
Hey, shalom. This is Officer Markel. I wasn't here last, Cuts from the Streets, but I'm here now. Officer Benjamin brought me in the fold. I'm a late addition. So, look, we come out here to check the people out, see where their heads at, headspace about abortions. We want to try to edify the people, teach them, what the Bible say about abortions, and therefore, hopefully, somebody get edified. They change their mind about abortions. That's what we out here for the people. Shalom. Most High Christ bless Israel.
Shalom, family. I'm Benjamin, and I have here with me
Shauna,
Alicia and Nathaniel Gordon.
Mark.
Anu, Monica.
Tokyo.
Okay, Shauna. So, sensitive topic going on right now that we're interviewing people on, and the topic is: are you pro-choice or are you pro-life?
I am pro-choice with pro-life tendencies and beliefs.
Okay, explain. Explain, because you lost me there.
What is your stance? Are you pro-life or are you pro-choice?
I am pro-choice.
And you?
I'm in between pro-life and pro-choice.
You in between. Why you in between?
Because I feel if you can't handle the responsibility, I feel you shouldn't bring a child in this world. And that's how I feel on it. And then the choice at the end of the day is yours. So if you still feel the need to do it, that's your choice. So it's like...
And you cool with that too?
Yeah.
So ultimately, that's what pro-choice is.
Well, I believe that there is life once conception has taken place. So that is my basic belief. However, I feel like God gives us choice. And so everyone should be able to utilize their choice within boundaries.
So it's kind of shaky, but I'm pro-life because I believe in life should live, But I also believe that you should have a choice. I don't know if that's, what you're leading towards, but...
Actually, I'm both. The reason being is I feel like that women should be able to choose what they want to do. There are a lot of situations where they should be able to choose. And also, I'm pro-life. I'm all about, being a Christian. I'm all about, not killing. And there's so many scientists have stated that there are so many stages to when it's considered an actual child. So I'm also pro-life. So.
Okay, we're going to get to that too. I don't know how you can be both. I'm going to come back to you on that one. What do you think?
Yeah. To me, it's none of my business. It's not my body.
Pro-choice? If we don't have a choice, what do we have?
Should the man have any agency or say as to whether or not the woman is able to or allowed to abort the child that he has had with her?
Yeah.
A lot of the times it's not even open for debate. In a lot of situations, men are not present when it comes time for a woman to actually have her child. So I do believe that it's up to the woman.
What if the man is in the picture?
If the man is in the picture, then you have to take into consideration what he is going to bring to the table as far as taking care of that child.
What about you?
I feel that it should be 50-50 because we ain't gonna have the choice to be on child support. If that ain't our child, we all our rights out of the window. So it's like, why shouldn't we have say so if we should be able to bring the baby in with you or not?
Now, do you think that the men should have a say so in a woman's rights to choose?
If that is their seed inside of that woman, yes, I do believe that.
Come back to the first question. You said it's not really your business, but that's why I asked you. You know.
People like, when it come to me, it's my business. So like, it's my child. If you don't want to give me the baby, don't get rid of it.
Okay. What do you think?
Well, it takes two to make a baby, so I do think everybody does have a say in that.
I think that a male does have a choice and should have a say. Mm-hmm.
And whether but in society now, the male, he don't have to be present for a woman to go down to a Planned Parenthood clinic for that stuff to happen, right?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that too. It's
Sound like kind of torn between two sides right there. It's kind of messed up.
A man could have no say so in if a woman decides to terminate the baby. Now, do you think also as well the man shouldn't have to provide for that baby if the woman decides to keep that baby?
I am split on that, but my initial answer would be if she made the choice by herself, then she should financially support that baby if he chose not to. However, if both of you laid down with no protection, no type of anything, then you're automatically responsible. And that shouldn't take away, because you should have been responsible before being irresponsible.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, because if she got the right, I ain't got no, like she just said this now, and if she got the right to, if he ain't there, she got the right to abort the baby. I should have the right to not want to be on child support, or, because if you want to do it, 'cause you might have been a trap. It might have just been a fling. So it's just like, let's leave it where it is versus trying to make it more than what it is.
What about you?
I'm not fully understanding the question.
I feel like if the male is with the female, like I feel like he should step up. Like whether or not it's his child, he procreated with her.
I believe he should be there for the child that you created.
We 50-50 in this, and you got the choice to exclude my 50% and just make it 100% where that you can make the decision with or without me to have the baby. But then you can make but I'm still obligated at the end of the day. So if you don't have the baby, I'm obligated. If you do have the baby, I'm obligated. Because I'm obligated to have, if you have the baby, I'm obligated to be on child support. Guys on child support with a baby not being theirs, they still obligated. If I'm there to sign the paper when I come to, and I'm thinking it's my baby, I'm still obligated at the end of the day. So do you feel that's right?
We were just actually having this conversation the other day, but
Ain't no way you can think that's right.
no, it's not right.
It's not right? Okay, I'm glad we could come to a middle ground.
So if he didn't get a say into something that he did put something into, takes two to make a child. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's sticky.
It's a sticky
because you want to do
topic.
right. At the end of the day, if you did make a person do right, do what you got to do. You got to do that's your responsibility. That person is your responsibility. But I understand, like, if I had to put myself in a male's shoes and I didn't have a say so of what was coming out of, I wouldn't think that it was fair if I had to be obligated to take care of something. Yeah.
We're going to come down to June, July, where the Supreme Court will determine if abortion will be legal or illegal. Do you think that could affect our community within the black community, the black Hispanic community, positively or negatively? And if so, how would it affect?
I do think that it would be a negative impact, only because people are so irresponsible with having sex, So, and a lot of times that Plan B that is going on, like they're talking about getting rid of that as well. So it would stop a lot of the ending life. So, and then making people be responsible in taking the child, hurting the children, or perhaps giving away being in the foster care. Like, it would push them to extreme measures, which I do feel abortion is an extreme measure, but it is a choice. But then after you have life, you have all of this repercussions of what happens, like life is hard just when you do it the right way. So when you start out with a handicap per se, it's rougher. So
Well, what I was just trying to make a point to earlier was that they have a shortage on formula right now. And of course, a woman is biologically able to breastfeed, but in many cases, a lot of women can't. Or they simply they run out of milk supply, or they are unable to get their baby to latch on from the beginning. So these women rely on formula. If they don't have any money, they don't have any formula, they can't breastfeed, how can you feed your child? I think it puts a lot of people in a compromised position. So I do not feel like this is a good idea. I don't feel like it's fair. I don't feel like if America doesn't have the resources to provide these women with food to feed their children, how can you have a stance on if she's able to have a baby or not? It doesn't make any sense.
If abortion was made legal entirely across the board, would that be a good thing for our people or a bad thing for our people?
I can't answer that question. I don't know. I don't know. I can't say. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
It should affect us in a positive manner, because then you'll, I guess, you. Because I'm feeling that you'll be more cautious in making and having babies. But then, do you know that the death and birth rate is it's not enough people being reproduced right now as well? So it's like.
You think it'll have a positive effect on the black community because you think our population would increase?
It needs to, but then on top of that, I feel that we'll be more mindful of when we have kids. It wouldn't be a thing of, we just out here just. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now, last final question. When do you think life starts in the womb?
conception.
Woo, okay, good answer. Good high five to that.
At the point of conception.
Correct.
So I feel like the heartbeat, like I feel like if a heart is beating in your body, then that life already began.
I don't know. I honestly think even before that. Even before the heartbeat. Because, like, you know what you're about to enter into when you go and lay down. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you already know what's about to happen.
Now, we all Bible-based groups, so we all going to bring out scriptures in the end, because a lot of the responses that you gave were biblical. Let me get Jeremiah 25:21 with Jacob and Esau. No, Genesis 25:21. My apologies.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife.
Because if you remember, Rebecca wanted to get pregnant. She couldn't get pregnant. She was of old age. So Isaac went ahead and talked to the Lord on her behalf. Keep going.
Because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebecca, his wife, conceived.
So just like how you said, conceive, as soon as that sperm touches that egg, you are now pregnant. And here's proof. Keep reading.
And the children struggled together within her.
Because there was life. They were struggling together. And that's where you get two nations, two manner of people, the blacks and Hispanics, and Esau, the so-called white people. Let's also get Jeremiah 1:5. And this is, again, just backing up of what you're saying. There is life in that womb, because a lot of people would say, oh, it's just a fetus. It doesn't have eyes or ears yet. And there's still life in that womb. Read what you got.
Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee and ordained thee a prophet unto the nations.
So just like goes back to what you said earlier, that baby could change massive people's lives, and we wouldn't know it yet. Last scripture, one more, Isaiah 49:1. Because what God said, before you was even in your mother's womb, I knew you. Yes. And so last one, Isaiah 49:1.
Isaiah chapter 49, verse 1. Listen, O isles, unto me, and hearken, ye people from far. The Lord hath called me from the womb. From the bowels of my mother hath he made mention of my name.
So that's also saying that God even talks to us in the woman's womb. So I thank you for your time. Any last thoughts or words you want to say at all?
No, I appreciate you all just indulging in this conversation, and I think it needs to be had. And God be the glory.
All right, let me get I want 1 Corinthians chapter 7, because this is important. I heard you say one thing. You said, they might be a fling, or that you mentioned the irresponsibility factor when it comes to specifically our people, when women have children that aren't planned, right? Sometimes it's irresponsible. Verse 1 and 2. Watch this.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 7, verse 1. Now concerning the things whereof you wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication.
So to avoid fornication, y'all know what fornication is, right? Right. To avoid that fornication, read.
Let every man have his own wife.
Every man have his own wife, read.
And let every woman have her own husband.
Every woman have her own husband. So typically when a man and a woman are married and they have a child, whether it's planned or unplanned, it's a general consensus to keep the child. Correct. Right? Now, when fornication comes into play and she was a fling from Saturday night, she might not want the baby. I don't want the baby. I don't even know this Negro. Or I don't want the baby. I don't even know that woman. You know what I'm saying? That's when we start having the debate of pro-life and pro-choice and where our morality lies in either keeping or terminating a child. Because y'all both believe that life begins at conception. So that means if there is an abortion, there is a taking of a life that's taking place.
Watch this right quick. This is what the Bible say about marriage, because y'all two are married, right? Is it a fair statement to say that most married people would not consider having an abortion if they was married? Is that a fair statement?
It's a fair statement.
Right, because why? Because they more, obligated to each other financially, spiritually. They are more into it instead of just someone you meet on the weekend and just having to be a thing and you end up being what? Get pregnant by them, so
When you say it like that, it just...
It makes sense?
Yeah, it makes
All
sense.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it is. That's why I say most. I didn't say all. Most married people would not go through with nothing like that, right? They look forward to bringing a family together, right? So watch this. This is what God says about marriage. Read.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all.
So God said marriage is honorable, not boyfriend, girlfriend, not no Saturday night fling. Being married is what's honorable. Read.
And in the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers God will judge.
Whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. Whoremongers are the people that's doing those weekend flings, doing the Plan B pills, you know what I'm saying, going to the Planned Parenthood clinics after 30 days and realize I done got pregnant by this dude that I met just 2 weeks ago. But see, if you was married, you ain't have to worry about that. Like, that's my wife. She's pregnant. You're happy. That's my husband. I'm pregnant. Good. That's what the Bible say, right? So better y'all think about the heartbeat, right? Jeremiah 1:5 right quick. Right, we're going to deal with that, right? Because, conception take place immediately, you know what I'm saying? With the sperm fertilize the egg, boom, boom, boom. This is what God says about this, right? This is what God says. God has a plan for all his people. Read.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee.
He said before he formed me, you, everybody out here in the belly, he knew all of us. So he had a plan for all of us. We don't need a face or feet and hands to say, okay, now it's life. It was life before it was even formed in the belly. God put it there. So when we come together and conceive, that is life already within the first initial stages of conception. Okay, so hey, who am I interviewing again?
Mark.
And who?
I knew.
Hey, thank you for your time with Israel United in Christ. Shalom, Most High in Christ bless.
Let me show you something else. One more. Exodus chapter 1. Lest they join with our enemies, right? So you talked about being confused, our people being confused, and that being an agenda by another people. Could you go back into that for a little bit?
Well, when you put fear, doubt, and unbelief in people's mind, then they get confused about what is right and what is wrong. And so some people, I'm not going to say ignorant, but some people that may not be as informed may be confused about what's going on.
Okay. Well, and what's going on with our people is that, I don't know if you're aware of the statistics, Since the 1970s, black women have aborted 19 million plus black children. Did you know that?
I did not.
I didn't know that.
So this is a pretty important conversation to have, would you say?
Yes.
Okay. So, and many of those are boys. Most of those were boys, actually. And in fact, in New York in 1 year, I believe it was 2017, the number of aborted boys actually exceeded the number of black boys that were born. So since the 1970s, black people have actually, or black women rather, because they have the agency, have actually aborted more black children than certain small countries have total population-wise in general.
Some of these women be getting raped and stuff. So you want to keep a rape baby, or you want to get rid of it? Like if you get raped and stuff, so you get pregnant, you want to keep the baby?
Okay, that's an interesting one because the statistics on that is rather that, according to Planned Parenthood, less than 1% of all abortions are because the woman was raped. Did you know that?
No.
That's according to Planned Parenthood. Did you know that? Now that's an interesting point that you brought that up, but I'm going to read you something about what happened to our people when we were in Egypt, right? Check this out real quick. We'll go fast.
The book of Exodus, chapter 1, and verse 9. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
So this is Pharaoh. This is the Egyptians. They said, man, these slaves that we got, these children of Israel, which is us, there's more of them than there is us.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them.
We're going to be, like you said, craftiness. We're going to spread a little bit of confusion. We can't let them really have a grasp of their people and know what's going on.
Lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies.
They were scared of our numbers, so they had to figure out a plan to decrease those numbers. Read.
Lest when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens.
Right. Jump to verse 17.
Verse
15. Excuse me.
Verse 15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives.
So the king of Egypt, Pharaoh, he spoke to the Hebrew midwives. He spoke to our people's women.
Of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him.
Because we delivered birth on stools. We didn't lay down. Because when you go number 2, you don't lay down flat like that when you go number 1. But when the babies come out, they try to lay us. But back in these days, we delivered on stools like this. We had midwives that would deal with us, right? So when the babies came out, read that again.
If it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then ye shall save live.
So the Egyptians wanted us to abort our male children. Why do you think that it specified males?
No answer.
But going back to what you said a while ago, the genealogy of the lineage,
Kill the seed.
The seed. Because if they keep the women, they can do what?
Fertilize.
Yeah, they can have sex with our women and make more of their own race of people, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, read on.
Verse 17. But the midwives feared God.
The midwives they had to fear the Lord on them. They wanted to be righteous.
And did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive.
So they did, this said they feared God. God was happy about that thing. They didn't abort them. You see that? What do you think about that?
Something else. I haven't read that. I wasn't familiarized with that area.
You're not familiar with? That's not something that they would read because this topic is very volatile. It's very sensitive. And as you can see, our opinions differ, right? What you think, Tokyo?
I never heard that either.
You never heard that either? All right, well, guess what? We hope y'all was edified at least a little bit. We appreciate y'all's opinions. And we went into the scriptures a little bit to see the mentality of the captors, the people that have us in captivity, what they kind of want to do to us. And we discussed a little bit of the numbers, right? We threw a couple things out there. Have y'all you got a few things to think about, you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we appreciate y'all. Tokyo and
Monica.
Hey, shalom.
All right, family. So that's it. That wraps up episode 2 with pro-life versus pro-choice. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Hopefully the people out there was edified. Engaging with the people, I realized that they have the sense, they have the idea, they're just not being guided right. You know, there was few people that could agree with the scriptures that life starts at conception. There's a few people that agree that men should have a say as well. Unfortunately, you heard a lot of stupid answers, and that's where we come in to try to clean up the mess. You got anything for them, officer?
Yeah. So, like officer said, you got a lot of stupid answers, but one thing I noticed is that a lot of the people was answering off of emotion. You could tell because a lot of them had a change of opinion. Once we started bringing out logistics and facts, you can see people's minds start to change. There was some edification that went out that made people want to go home and think about the decisions or think about the opinions that they have regarding abortion. So I think it was a good turnout. You know what I'm saying? We had, like officer said, some stupid answers, but it was good. It was dope though.
Yeah, just what both the officers were saying, we came out here to provoke the people's minds. Some of the thoughts that, came from the conversation, you can tell right on camera. A lot of people changed their minds and really thought about what was being said and said, I might need to go and do a little more research instead of just going off my initial emotional thought. So, like I said, we did have some dumb answers from some people, but for the most part, we came out here, we edified the people. A lot of people, they learned more by the time they left. They had more questions for us. We passed out some flyers to the people, with our numbers. And so a lot of people going to check us out and see what we're talking about. So that's all I got.
Touchy topic. Obviously, the PC cancel culture has people panties in a wad when it comes to whether or not they want to comment on certain of these types of things. But guess what? It's important that they do because obviously these things have affected our people wholesale from this country, the other countries where they are able to get their hands on these types of devices. So in order for us to actually figure out as a people whether or not it would be good or not for our people, we gotta, like we were dealing with the people on, discuss it, talk about it, bring it out, and go into the Bible to show them the actual right from wrong on the situation. So we did that today. All right.
Also, we could really use your help. Go ahead, like, comment, share. Drop a comment of what you want our next topic to be, all right? We open to ideas and opinions. So like, comment, subscribe, share. And with that, we say shalom.